What's up, y'all? I'm Alan Hay, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for coming back for yet another video. And this is part 3 in our little series that we've had going for the last few days. Now, I first want to apologize for the messed up days versus dates. I realized the last 2 videos, the dates and days didn't match up. It's because I've been trying to do this like daily vlog thing or pretty close to it. And when I do that, all the days run together. Sunday's the same as Wednesdays, the same as Saturdays, same as Mondays. So I get off. What I actually need to do is just add a step in my process to actually check a calendar during my final edit. Anyway, when I last left you guys, I had the lawn tools here and my friend Brandon Davis, and they left, and then I started to go ahead and work on my hurricane prep because at that time I thought that there was still a chance that it was going to come over by here on the Tampa Bay area, and as you can see, I was fighting my generator. Even though the hurricane is not a threat to me over here on the West Coast, I'm still going to go ahead and fix my generator because it's pretty smart to be prepared, Mr. Floridian. And I'm going to go ahead and take you through that because I know what the problem is. I've consulted my dad and we agree it's one thing that I need to get in and get fixed. All of that said though, today, right now, today is Monday, Labor Day, September 2nd, and as I take you back here in this next video, this is going to be Saturday, August 31st, so just 2 days ago. And as I mentioned, as of right now, the hurricane is not a threat to us here on the West Coast, but I am sending my best thoughts and prayers over to you guys on the East Coast of Florida, even up into Georgia, up into the Low Country, South Carolina, and maybe even points further north. I really hope things come out okay for you. A lot of people have asked me if there's any kind of hurricane prep for your lawn or landscape. I'll put a couple things at the end of the video here, but no, in a nutshell, there isn't really much, but there's a timestamp there if you do want to hear a couple little tips for your lawn before you get going. But the gist of today's video is I went over to help my buddy Chris install some gutters and then some drainage over at his place over by Lakewood Ranch over by there, and I wanted to just kind of show you guys that. Now listen, we are not experts at all. I've actually never had to install rain gutters on a house at my place, and so I don't have any experience with it, but what I told my buddy Chris is I said, man, I would love to come over and help you and offer assistance or whatever. You watch all the YouTube videos you can, you learn it, and then let's just do it together and learn it together, and I think it would be fun and we'll video it. And so that's what this is. So we're just letting you know we are not skilled at this, but hopefully you can learn something from it, just like Chris has learned and what I've learned, so that I can tell you that as we do more of these, we will get better and better and better at it, as well as your comments below will really help us improve as we do more, because he's got more gutters to do over there. So we're really happy to learn from you guys as well, and I hope you get something out of this part of our series. Chris, DIY right now. Yeah. Tell us, we won't take all day, but tell us what you're doing.
Well, there's 2 small projects that I'm doing. Now that I have this pool in place, I want to get the water completely out of here. So I'm going to be installing a gutter, installing a full length of gutter, a downspout, and taking it all the way out, and then installing some catch basins with a drain, trench a drain in the ground, connect the 2, and send it all the way out to the other side of my property.
And so I know nothing about gutters, so Chris has been watching YouTube videos, and I said, you're gonna teach me, and I get to film, hey wait, I get to film and drink coffee over here while he does all the work. And then I've done some drains, and he's done some drains, and we've been watching Chuck from Apple Drains. Yep. So we're good to go. This end is going up there.
Yeah, it's going up here. So this span here is about 30 feet. Bought these from Lowe's. These are the aluminum 5-inch, the K style. And these are 10 feet long, each of them, so I need 3 of them just for that span. There's gonna be a little overlap as well, and I've accounted for that. But I've never done this before, just making sure everybody knows.
Yeah, me neither.
You know, I've learned a lot just simply going on YouTube, and which is great. I've fixed so many other things with YouTube, but there's been some really good videos. I'm sure we could just put links in below on the ones that I've seen, because they're actually really, really good. So the first thing is, if I'm gonna put one span up here, the first 10-foot span, it just ends, it dead ends there, right? So I'm gonna need to put an end cap on. So as with all things where water is going, you wanna make sure you have a nice good seal so you don't have anything leaking. And so we bought this stuff. It's available at Lowe's. It's the OSI. I think Chuck from Apple Drains was using this in one of his videos too, which is great. So I saw that afterwards. But basically, we're gonna attach this piece to the end here, and we're going to seal the whole thing so that we don't have anything leaking out of this end. They're kind of what holds the gutter to the house itself. So every 2 feet we're supposed to put these in. So let me just kind of show you how it's done. It has a hook in on one side, and that marries up with the front lip. Turn it over. This little part goes right over the edge, and it provides some rigidity there. And then this goes through the back end, and that's what goes into your house. Every 10 feet, you want the slope to go down about 1/2 inch. So if I start here, I can measure out from the top of my roof line down, and then down 10 feet down there, I could add in another 1/2 inch and mark those 2 spots. And then when I put it up, then I'll know exactly where to level it out, right?
I didn't get very good audio here, but what we're discussing are different ways you can connect the next span at the roof line. The first way was to buy a coupler or a collar that brings them both together. The second way was to cut an angle out of each piece and connect them sort of like crown molding. And then the third is similar to that, and this is the one that Chris elected to go with.
I'm gonna take out like a 2-inch span right here, and it's basically just cut here and then cut over, and then that side will still have its lip. You slide it in and it butts up directly, and so the butting up directly is gonna go basically all the way here right to that point.
So you're only gonna have one seam in that.
That's right. So right about there. Don't mess this up.
Alright.
Off-going pipe into the oncoming pipe.
Ah, yeah, makes sense.
Anywhere.
Because you don't want the water to flow into the seam. Yeah.
Right. So basically you do this, try to marry it up, and that's where it would stop. And so
yeah, and then
you just do, and then you have a nice good seam. Now between here, before I put this in, I got to put some more sealant.
Okay, so not only are we amateurs at installing gutters, I'm also an amateur at filming someone else doing a DIY project. So Chris had put a line of the sealant between there before he put those two pieces together, but you can see how they marry up. And then we elected to use stainless steel screws to connect everything together. You could also use rivets at this point. From here, the next span had to be cut because we had to get to a corner, and you can see we just did some basic measurements, did the same sort of cutout, and here you can see how you put the sealant in there. We also installed a downspout piece and bought the different connections to get the downspout headed down to where the drains are going to be. The next day when I came back, that's when we started digging all the drains and connected everything together. I'm not going to go into any kind of detail on the drains. I've already done videos on that. And I'll link in the description below to a whole bunch more videos on installing gutters and drains and everything else. As well as this week on the podcast, I'm going to talk about the importance of water management in your lawn and landscape. So So as I go through the edit here, I'm realizing that the quality of my cinematography on this video is not quite where it should be. So I'll make sure I go back to Chris's house and do a full update showing you everything we did and what it looks like afterward and how all the drains are working. So make sure you subscribe to the channel to see that. Now, as far as hurricane prep goes, I did want to just address this really quickly. The first thing I'll recommend is if you want to get the true outlook on what's actually going on down here, there are two websites I recommend you look at. The first is called Mike's Weather Page, and it's really awesome because it has kind of a throwback look to it, and it's got every single feed you could imagine coming in. And then the second place I like to go is called windy.com, where you get this really cool view here, but you can also look at the track that the hurricane is supposed to take. Next, mowing. People ask me, should I mow before or after the storm? The answer is I would definitely mow before the storm, because there could be flooding or the lawn could remain saturated for a long time, especially if rains hang out. And then the other thing, if the power is out, you don't want to be the guy out using gasoline to mow your lawn when you could be donating that gasoline to a neighbor to help their generator run. So mowing ahead of time just hedges your bets, and hopefully your lawn doesn't get too overgrown. The next thing is about throwing down, and the answer is no fertilizer, no fungicide, no humic acid, no insecticides, no nothing. You don't want to apply anything before a hurricane, because whatever you apply is more than likely going to get washed out. Finally, as far as getting your lawn recovered, you never want to apply anything to the lawn as long as it's saturated and there's water running off of it. So wait till it dries out to resume your regular treatments. The last thing is, if you have palms, you want to get those thinned out if you can, get any dead limbs or branches removed, because you don't want that to create a projectile that could fly through your window. With that, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you've gotten something out of this video, and for my friends in the path of the hurricane, we're definitely hoping for the best. With that, I'm Alan Hain, the Lawn Care Nut. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the lawn.